It's time for another monthly update, Patreon update for the Roundtable. Again, thank you so much for your encouragement. I got a number of things to share with you today. And so let's get with it. First of all, movie news in terms of the Netflix series on the Chronicles of Narnia. There's nothing really new. However, people have been speculating because about what's going to happen, because several times the Netflix has used the word universe, Narnia universe, in their discussion about the movies. And so the question is, when people are doing that these days, they may be talking about something besides just movies. They may be talking about live action TV. They may be talking about offshoots, things that they might be doing on the side, come up with new stories or something. So that's kind of the big thing going on in the speculation right now about these movies is the Netflix Narnia endeavor. It's what this is going to be like, but who knows at this point. But anyway, if I hear anything, I'll be sure to let you know. Something else now that I wanted to let you all know that I've been trying to do for you, my patrons, which hasn't worked out. Now here's the deal. As you know, I've got contacts with the Oxford University C.S. Lewis Society, and they've recorded their lectures year after year. They recorded my lecture when I gave one there a while back, but they don't show up anywhere. And it's like, okay, you recorded these things. How am I going to hear it? And I started thinking, let me see what I can do to see if perhaps they just need help and I can get them online some way, and that way my patron supporters will be able to hear them. Well, I contacted Michael Ward. He is the faculty advisor for the society. It's a student-run society, and he gave me the contact information with the webmaster and stuff. And I told him what I was interested in doing, and that I was willing to, do some of the work. They could be putting the lectures in a Dropbox, and then I could be putting them online or something. It could be actually done fairly easily. But Michael eventually said, this is a student-run organization. It needs to stay a student-run organization, and if the students don't have time to do everything that they ought to be doing, then that's their problem. And he's got a point. Now, the organization exists for the sake of the Oxford community. They're not trying to be, reach the world or anything like that. And so it was disappointing, but I can understand what Michael says. But I tried. I tried to do something for you all. It didn't work out, but we'll keep working on some other things. Speaking of which, this was interesting. Last night I was thinking, I wonder if I could find something cool about the kilns that I could share with you all today. And I found somebody on Facebook posted one of these 360 photographs of the common room, which she just says is the ugliest room in the house, but it's like the parlor, the sitting room, where Jack and Warnie would receive their guests, and Joy when she was there. And anyhow, it's really nice, and so I'm going to. The only way I tried downloading it, seeing how I could manipulate this, but the best I could do was come up with a Facebook link. And what I'm thinking is, if you click on this link, it's going to take you to this Facebook page that's got the picture on it, and then you'll be able to, move your mouse on it and look around the room. And by the way, be sure to notice that beautiful sculpture of a lion that is, of course, it's supposed to be Aslan, that's on a table in the corner. It was given to the kilns years ago. It's really nice. But at any rate, I don't know if you have to be a Facebook member for this to work for you or not. So if you're not a Facebook member and it doesn't work, I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to do the best I can with it. If there's another way of handling it, maybe one of you all have an idea of what can be done. But I'll have a link to that with this video. Now let's see, what else do I have for you today? Oh yes, now next year's annual UTC C.S. Lewis lecture, I've got some news for you. We have asked a person to do the lecture, and they have agreed to do it. It's not public yet, and so you're getting it early. It might be that some of the other committee members are telling other people. I don't know. I haven't heard. But you're hearing it from the old horse's mouth right here, that the lecturer next year is going to be Jamie Quattro. Now, Jamie Quattro is a woman. She and her family go to Lookout Mountain Presbyterian. They live on Lookout Mountain. She's a local. And she is a novelist. She's written fiction. She has a master's in fine arts and teaches up at Sewanee in the summers. And Jamie has got a couple of award-winning books. And she says that C.S. Lewis has had a strong influence in her writing in her life. And so the idea here is to have a lecturer that's out of the ordinary. Instead of it being some person who teaches about C.S. Lewis or literature about Lewis or something like that in some institution, some academic, we've got more of a practitioner, someone who has been influenced by Lewis, but is writing and is in the literary field themselves. And we haven't had a woman in a long time, and so when I believe it was Dr. Earl at Covenant that raised the possibility of having Jamie do this. We asked her, and she agreed to do it, and we just liked the idea. We thought this could be really different. So that's who is going to be our lecturer next year, and you get the general idea of probably what our topic's going to be about. Now the dates. The dates have yet to be determined, but we're looking at the last Thursday of March and the first 2 Thursdays of April. So that's March the 28th, April the 4th, and April the 11th. Those 3 Thursdays. So you can kind of block out your calendar and look forward to a definite announcement. I'll be sure to let you all know as soon as there's a definite word. In fact, I probably need to follow up with the committee chairman to be sure that this thing does. It looks like it's kind of stuck. So we need to kind of be sure that this date is set. And I'm also going to provide for you a link to Jamie Quattro's website. It's just jamiequattro.com, but you may not know how to spell her name. And so you can look at her and see what it says about her writings. And so there's some news for you here locally, and I'm looking forward to hearing Jamie and seeing what the discussion is like and what happens from there. Now I need to tell you about, first of all, a little coffee. Excuse me. Thanks to Mad Priest. Now, I need to tell you about a project that's going on, because you are helping me to do this. I have just recently. You know that I wrote a book of prayers. I think I published it last year or something. I'm publishing another book. However, this book is a reprint of a booklet that was done by the Bishop of Virginia back in 1852. What is this about? In fact, I've got this is the original booklet right here. It's the cover's all off of it and it's falling apart and so forth. But let me tell you what this is about. Several years ago, on one of my blogs that was more Anglican oriented, I typed out and put on the blog all but one of the chapters from this book right here. It's called Reasons for Loving the Episcopal Church. And today it would have been retitled Reasons for Loving Evangelical Anglicanism, which is what I've got right now. And so what I want to do is I want to do a book that is Narnia related. And I thought, and the thought came to me, all I need to do is type up one more chapter of this booklet and then write a preface, and I can publish this book and market it. And the idea is to use it for practice. Okay? So it's a quick, easy book to produce, so I can use it to practice marketing a book. And all of this for the purpose of publishing the Narnia related book and marketing that. Okay, so what I have been doing, and again, like I say, this was practically already all done. I just needed to format it, upload it, that sort of thing. I'm getting the final proofs in on Thursday, hopefully, and I'm learning how to market a book. These days, even if you have a book with a traditional publisher, they want you marketing the book. They want to know how many people you have on Facebook and how many emails you have and these sorts of things, because they look to you to work at marketing books. So, nowadays it's sort of a wash as to whether you have a publisher. I mean, there are some advantages still, but you can actually get pretty far doing your own publishing. Now, this is not going to be a bestseller or a big hit or anything like that. There's a small group of people that are going to be interested in this book, but I'm learning how to get people together to be interested in the book, and then when it comes out on Amazon, put reviews up for me and tell people about it, that sort of thing. Okay, we know word of mouth is always the best marketing thing anyway. So the Narnia book, which I've already written a lot of it, but I've got some more to do, and now that this thing is pretty much done, and all I'm doing is just marketing it now, I can get back to actually writing the Narnia book. And the book is going to be about the true story behind the Narnia children, like the Pevensies, for example. So I'm going to talk about life at the kilns during World War II, life with the professor living out in the countryside, and who were these children that inspired these different characters. And there's one in particular that Lewis said was the inspiration for Lucy. So I want to look into the background of these things. Now, these children have been mentioned and details about them have appeared in other works, but nobody has ever pulled everything that we've got together in one place and told the whole story all together. And there's another thing that I'm going to do that I don't think I haven't seen done before. And we know, for those of us that have been around Lewis stuff long enough, that Lewis said that one of the reasons why he wrote the stories was because it was a way of introducing people to Christian theology and the Christian faith through the back door of the imagination. You read these stories and you sort of intuitively learn what the worldview of Christianity and how wonderful Aslan is. So that's fairly common knowledge because he says that. But there's also something else going on, and that is a true compassion and interest in children that he acquired during the war with these London evacuees kids were staying with him. And I think I've got enough evidence for that to be able to argue that Lewis wrote these stories because he got to where he really did care about kids. Now, it's not that he hadn't cared about children at all, but it is interesting that when he first told Mrs. Moore and Maureen that he was going to write some children's stories, they laughed. Because it's like, Jack, writing stories for kids? That's crazy. But he not only was able to do it, but he became a man who cared about children and cared about their imagination and cared about their development and wanted to do this for them. So it's not just C.S. Lewis the apologist, not just C.S. Lewis the evangelist, which is the way the Narnia books are normally depicted. He's doing Christian apology now through fiction. He's trying to evangelize people indirectly, but it's because he really he became delighted in children, became concerned for them, and what he didn't know, he made himself learn. He was willing to change in order to minister to these people. So I think there's a real message there about Lewis's character. So that's what the thing's going to be about. And I'm hoping that I can have this thing done, by the first of the year or something like that. And we'll see how it does. I may talk to some of my friends who have published with other publishers, with not themselves, but published through traditional publishers, and see what they think about it, because there's a possibility that through my network there might be some people might get the book in front of an agent or something like that. That's a possibility. But in the meantime, I'm learning how to market it myself, and so we'll see. So that's a project that I've been working on, again, partly because of your all's encouragement for me to do so, and I do appreciate that. Now, let's see, what else have I got going on here? Okay, we are going to be having a meeting this month, November, the last Monday. You probably have seen the announcement. Last Monday this month. It's going to be at the Spot again here in Highland Park at Main and Hawthorne. I'm still waiting for another venue to open up here in Highland Park, and they're not in a hurry about it, so we'll see how that goes. And I'm going to reserve a table for us this time, so we'll take care of that. And I believe I've posted, posted a blog post here on my Patreon page that's got the details of which chapters in God in the Dock we'll be discussing. If you can come, it'd be great. And then also remember that I am continuing every week to blog about Lewis's new book on prayer, How to Pray. And let's see, I'm into I did chapter 13 last week, I think, didn't I? And so let's see here. There's 18 chapters, so 5 more weeks and I'll be done. And then I'm also like a couple months behind or so posting these on the C.S. Lewis Foundation blog as well. So you can, and it would be helpful if you think about it or have an occasion to share the blog with people. And I'm also going to continue. There's a couple of places on Facebook. There's the UTC C.S. Lewis lecture Facebook page that I manage with another person, and then there is the C.S. Lewis at Prayer in Oxford page that I manage, and I will occasionally post things about these blog posts on these pages, because there's other people that aren't involved with the C.S. Lewis Society locally that are interested in those things. There's like a couple hundred each or something, and so I'm trying to foster that in that fashion. And also pray. I am considering the possibility of maybe having a weekend retreat in the near future. The sooner the better. I continue to look for work, but as long as nothing is popping up, maybe in the near future, if I had a weekend retreat somewhere or something, I could pull it off. I pray you'll give me that the Lord give me wisdom about that, whether I should do that or not. In the meantime, just let me know if anything comes up, you got any questions, or have interest in anything particular Lewis related, and we'll just keep doing this. And thank you again for your help and encouragement. I know that there are people who are coming who want to come to these monthly meetings, and they're glad we're having them again, and so they should be appreciative of what you're doing as well. And so at any rate, I think that's it. So God bless you all, and we'll just stay in touch. Bye.